Thank you for tuning in, everyone, and welcome to GoMarquette.com's presentation of the Bond Shymansky Show, our first of many shows this year. And to get things started off right, of course, we welcome in the General of Marquette Women's Volleyball, head coach Bond Shymansky. Coach, thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks, Brian. Good to be here.
So much has transpired since last December when you took over. You've talked so much in the offseason about the changes in mindset and the preparation and the execution. On this day, as you are just a mere few days away from the start of the season on Friday, is the program closer to where your vision is than your vision was in December?
Yeah, I think we're doing a lot better, and part of the vision is just a culture of competitiveness, and a culture of just raising a standard for what volleyball should look like. And a lot of it is just a systematic difference. We run a different style offense, different training techniques, and that takes time to implement. And we've had a pretty fruitful preseason in that regard, and so we feel like we're maybe 2 steps closer, but it's a lot of steps to be where we want to be, and that's hanging banners in the gym here. And we want to be Big East champions. We want to be NCAA champions. We have a long way to go to get there. And so we're making, I think, good strides, but it's still going to take time.
What's had to be the most important message that you feel you and your staff has had to stress for newcomers and returners alike?
Well, the big thing is getting them to believe in what we're doing and having them to understand that when it works right, it's going to be great, and great volleyball is what we're after. And when you're running the style of offense that we run, there's a lot of times where it can break down. It just doesn't flow, it doesn't sync, and when that happens, it can be frustrating, and it can seem a little pointless. But as we've worked through it and gotten tighter and tighter as a group, got a little more fluid as an offensive system, they can see kind of the glimmers of what we're after. And what we tell them all the time is, if the highlights are in there, let's make a highlight play every single play. And once we're able to do that, then we know we're going to be competitive within the conference.
Now, obviously, a few of your peers think that your team is capable of making plays this year. I know, obviously, you don't want to rest on laurels, and being picked 6th, obviously, is nothing to get, I know in your mind you want to get too excited about. Yeah. But I know it's the fans around here, that's definitely an eye-opener to see preseason after last year, picked 6th. I know, obviously, you don't want to focus on it, but a nice pat on the back is to get things started.
Yeah, I think it's like a dubious acknowledgement. Mm-hmm. We feel like we want to be Big East champions. That's not 6th, that's 1st.
Right.
And but also, I think the other teams, the other coaches that are out there, they're recognizing that Marquette has the capability of doing something special. They don't know what our team's going to do, frankly, any better than we know right now. And so I think they're guessing a little bit, and they're giving good respect to the players that we brought in, some of the transfers we brought in, and I think good respect to us as a coaching staff. But there's something exciting happening within our program, and we're anxious to go out there and do better than 6th.
You had Fan Fest last week. Fans were able to come in, get a kind of a little, somewhat of a preview of what they're going to be looking at this upcoming season. Up to this point, anybody in particular who's really jumped out to you and at least grasping what you guys are trying to preach?
Well, I think for me to single out players saying somebody's doing great or whatever, it would probably be a little premature at this point, and I'd like to see the stats speak for themselves a little bit during the course of the season as we get into our first competition. But I've been impressed with how the younger players have adapted quickly, and some of them, I suppose, have exceeded our expectation, but only because you just don't really have expectations for freshmen. You just want them to come in and work hard, and you to see what they're going to do. And so that's been a pleasant surprise. And I think the big thing is just the returning players to see that they have a passion for what we're doing, that they're really excited, that they're proud of who they are, proud of what the team is becoming, and they feel like they're a part of a big change within the program. And that's a rare moment. A lot of athletes don't have that. I think the accountability and also just the personal responsibility for moments like that. And so the older players are really showing that. They're proud of Marquette volleyball, and they're kind of instilling that belief within the younger players too.
The season opens up this weekend in Chicago. You're there for the Loyola Invitational. You got Eastern Kentucky on Friday, your alma mater on Saturday in Iowa, then come back with the tournament hosts. Just kind of preparing to get out and play 3 games in 2 days, or do you prep at all for any of the individual teams? Kind of how's that been going?
Yeah, first weekend you don't get a lot of chance to scout because nobody's played yet. We're as much of a mystery or an enigma as those teams are, and so you base it a little bit on last year, kind of who they have returning, what those players did. But basically focusing on us, staying focused on Marquette and the style of volleyball that we want to play. But I mean, going into a weekend like that, it's important. We want to walk out of there 3-0. I mean, it's not about just, oh, let's go see what happens or let's just try to compete. We're out there to win, and so that's our goal. We'd certainly like to start with a victory on Friday. I'd definitely like to beat my alma mater in Iowa, and then playing at Loyola, that'll be a challenge. They have a great fan base there, and they're pretty active. They're good hecklers, and kind of a tight arena. So I think it's a good opening weekend for our team to see where we're at for the fall.
Wonderful. Well, Coach, best of luck to you this weekend, and we look forward to talking about that 3-0 start next week.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
Fantastic. And we'll see you all next week on the Bond Shymansky Show every Thursday on GoMarquette.com.